Hi there, I'm Clifford Bates, and welcome to Reading Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics. Today we're continuing on Book 1, Chapter 2. Again, we're doing this chapter by chapter, so there'll be shorter videos, and then maybe some videos will be longer than other this, but chapter by chapter. Chapter 2 is very interesting, and it is basically a three-paragraph. It's two paragraphs and a third, a little fragment that starts out to transition. It continues from what we did, the introduction about the arts and the sciences and the aiming towards some good, and the question of the art and the end, and the idea of the attack of tectonica. So it's continuing from this. He says, chapter 2, let's go right into text. If, therefore, there are some ends of our action, so there again, ends, telos, and like actions, praxis, that which we wish for on account of itself. So an end in itself, right? An end because of our actions, for which an account of its we wish for an account of itself. The rest being things we wished for on account of this end. And if we do not choose all things on account of something else, for if in this way the process will go on indefinitely, such that the longing involved is empty and pointless. Clearly, this would be the good that is the best, right? So, therefore, the longing, again, 6, this is the first instance of orexis. Um, we translate longing and orexis, um, again, which refers in general to the aplexity of the soul, in which eurythia, or desire, is a species. The term is relative to the verb oregon, which we translate to long for, the Oregon. Okay, this is again, this is the longing, the moving towards, right? And desire. Remember, eros is a form of longing in this sense. So longing and erotic desire is a longing, but it's a specific type of lacking. Here, this is a want. This is a longing for something, right? A again, this is a, he says, translation, this is, again, Bartlett and Collins are translating this as apoplexy, which, how would I translate that? How would you translate apoplexy? That's a pain. I can't interface with it. Unlike my other edition where I could interface with the graphic, I'm using a PDF, the physical copy of the text, and therefore I can't get the dictionary stuff. So, oops. So that's going to be a pain. Hold on. Okay, this word apathy means a natural desire, something, a longing or a natural desire, a tendency. Okay, a tendency of the soul, a characteristic of the soul, right? Of which epidia, desire, is a species, right? So therefore, we turn here this very interesting thing. Now 6, 7, which is at the best, Ariston, right? The superlative of to agathon, right? The agathon of to agathon, the good, right? Ariston is the superlative of the good, right? Although some translators rendered this the highest or chief good, we consistently translate it as the best to capture the sense that is indicated as a peak, but may be simply the best of the goods available to human beings. So for the best. Some translators the highest good, the highest good. Well, this is the best. This is Ariston, the best. So therefore, should be this idea that the different ends, the different accounts, we wish that that um, all these goods are interconnected to each other. And he says that, okay, if we're in this, in other words, um, rest being things we wish for on account of this end, this highest end, right? This end. If there is some end of our actions that we wish for on account of itself, so that we want it because it's the highest, this end, this action, some end of our action, some end telos of our praxis, that which we wish for on account of itself, and not if not for something else. We wish for it for itself. And he says, the rest being things we wish for on account of this end, this end, this thing. The other things we want is to achieve this, okay, this highest end, right? This highest end. Um, for in this way, this could go on forever, right? For such longings involve empty and pointless, he says. For such, other words, for in this way, the process would go on definitely. That such the longings involved are empty and pointless. In other words, if wherever we just have ends, individual ends, we don't have something we aim towards, and it's he says if we don't have this chief end, this high end, things would therefore, if we didn't have this high end by which all the other ones aim to, then everything would be pointless. He says that's kind of nihilism. I mean, there's not this highest end, and everything would be nihilistic. So this is kind of a either or, a kind of a tricky either or here. Aristotle's doing something funny here in that sense. He says clearly would be involved in pointless. Clearly, this would be the good that is the best. So the good here is the agathon. That is the good, the agathon, to agathon, the good that is the ariston, the best. And with a view to our life, bios, right? I think it's bios, right? This is our life. Then, and with a view to our life, then is not the knowledge of this good of great weight. So, if they're given that it's a view to our life, isn't this knowledge not of this good of great weight, importance, heavy? And should we not, like the archer, in possession of a target? So this archer metaphor, like the archer, in possession of a target, better hit on what it is needed. So therefore, this good we have to hit on what is needed. Like the archer and the target. This target is this high end, right? What is needed. If this is so, so therefore, if this end is so, if this is so, this is true. This end is important, right? It is so important. This end about this thing, this end or this goal, uh, is so important because it leads us to living our lives in a very specific way. Then, if this is so, then one must try to grasp, in outline at least, whatever it is and to which the science or capacity belongs. So, what is this end? What is this high end? What is this end that this good? This good that is best. This good that is best. Okay, this end that is therefore, what is the science to which it belongs? Science or capacity to which it belongs. In other words, that this good, this thing, this end, the end, the telos here, this good, this end that is best, what does it belong to? What art or capacity does it belong to? Next paragraph. But it might be held to belong to the most authoritative and most architectonic one. For such appears to be the political. Now, it's not that, no, that's what such appears. Oops, we had a call. So let's go on this. We talk about the political art, the most authoritative and architectonic one. That what is held to belong to the most authoritative ruling, and most architectonic one. This appears, not is. It is not. It is. In other words, he's not. Again, appears important. Appear is not. What is the word appears here? He's not saying that this is, but it appears to be the political one. It appears to be the political art. Um, uh, 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 Here, Aristotle subjectively uses the feminine force of politike without referring specifically to the noun and which is modified and can be easily done uh, uh, in Greek, science, art, or capacity, all grammatically possible. we will translate the word consistently. So therefore, the political art by ending ike, generally indicating that an art or techne is involved. So if the ike in terms of this episteme, in other words, ike implies a stat or a capacity, right, are all grammatically possible. So politicate, um, this ike, this feminine form in that sense of political, not politicos, but politicae. And because it's ite, this implies the art, the political art. He's saying in that sense. This is, and therefore, this is why grammatically it's done this way. So even though it's not politicos, be the political, this political capacity. Or it could be political, not only art, techne, that's but the political capacity. In other words, not only art, science, art, IKE can be art, science, science, art, or capacity. So we could even translate it as the scientific capacity. The political capacity appears to be the political. The political. You want to say the political. The not the politician. The political capacity. The political. Using a Schmittian term, or it appears to be the political art, science, activity, the thing, the political activity, or the action. Because it's this feminine form of here, the politicae. So it's very interesting. So therefore, the authoritative art, the most architectonic one, appears to be. So that's very interesting. Is it appears, not is, but it appears. So let's go over here to go next to continue this. So this paragraph. For it ordains what sciences there must be in cities, policies, and what kinds each person in turn must learn, and up to what point. So therefore, this is that. In other words, that he's saying that the political one, which is interesting in that sense, right? He says, for it, the political art ordains what sciences there must be in the cities, what sciences or knowledge that the cities need, right, and what kinds of sciences and arts each person in turn must learn for the city, and up to what point, how much you have to learn. We also see that even the most honored capacities, for example, generalship, household management, economicals, and rhetoric, fall under the political art. So these most honored capacities like generalship, household management, and rhetoric fall under the political art. Oh, so this is interesting. Rhetoric is would be the political science in that sense, right? Rhetoric is a political art in that sense. Aristotle's idea, under the political art. Again, this is politicae. Again, the Greek is falls under the politicae, feminine form again. So he's not using art here; it's using that form. So it's very. So that we can say we can translate this as the political. In other words, it's not just only the political art, but the political. In fact, you could translate Schmidt's the political as the political art, okay, or the political capacity, the political in that sense. This is what the political means in that sense. The doing of it, the activity of it, right? Because it makes use of the remaining sciences, and further because it legislates what one ought to do and what to abstain from, its end would encompass those of the others, with the result of that this would be the human good. So let's stop here. Let's look at number 10, or this is nomos, customs. the word here of remain would, because it would make use of the remaining sign, conventions, customs. This is okay. Sorry, wrong word. Okay, I'm number 11. Sorry, I apologize. This is my roof now. Number 10. It's footnote 10. Okay, this is. I'm getting ahead of myself. Oops. Footnote 10, not 11. It's not customs. Oops, not nomos. Oops. Forget that for a second. Chapter 10, the manuscript adds to this point the word practical sciences. So the manuscript at this point, practical, the practicus. But Bywater, following Stewart and Burnett, deletes it. One manuscript omits the word translating as remaining, omits the word as remain, translated as remaining. So I think that's what they're doing the editing here. It's not the practical sciences in that sense. You're not going to use the practical. It's going to be called the remaining sciences. So let's go look at this here. Because it makes use of the remaining sciences, the other sciences, the remaining. This is because of manuscript choice. It makes a manuscript choice. And further, because it legislates what one ought to do and what to abstain from. So therefore, the political art legislates what we should do and what we should do. Its end would encompass those of the others, with the result that this would become the human good, right? The human good, this ultimate good, the end of politics, the end that the political seeks, the political activity seeks, is that's the human good. For even if this is the same thing for an individual and a city, for even if this is the same thing for, so it's a question, even if it is the same thing, it's not saying it is, the good, the good that is achieved, this high end, is it the same for the city as in the individual, city and man, right? As for the individual and the city. To secure and preserve the good of the city appears to be something greater and more complete, so that the good of the city is the higher good in that sense, than the individual good. That is more complete. There's something that the city is higher in this sense than the individual. Even though they may be the same, it may be the same, but may not be. But even that's the case, that this to secure and preserve the good of the city appears to be something greater and more complete. The good of the individual by himself is certainly desirable enough, but that of the ethnoi, the nation, of a nation, and of the cities, of the ethnoi, of a people. I think it's ethnoi, it's people, maybe that of a people, a nation, a people, and of the polis is more beautiful, Cologne, and more divine, is nobler, again, beautiful, more beautiful, Cologne, this is from Cologne, is more beautiful, is beautiful, nobler, more beautiful, beautifuler, right? More beautiful, and more divine, godlike, of the gods, of the divine, of the gods. So therefore, this is, in other words, even though the individual is good, but of the people and of the cities is something, the ethnoi, I think the Greek word is ethnoi there, and the is divine. This is where, again, this is why it's the power of this. The so it's the higher end in that sense. Is more, in other words, even though they may be the same, but but something higher. That there's something more. That the good of the city, in other words, the good of the city appears to be something greater and more complete than of the individual by himself is certainly capable, desirable though. But that the nation, that of the good of the nation and the city is more nobler and divine. And they said the inquiry then aims at these things, since it is a sort of political inquiry. In other words, the inquiry here, that this is a political inquiry. He ends that paragraph. So therefore, chapter 2 ends with this thing, the inquiry. The inquiry here that we're aiming at, the good that is aimed at, is aimed at these things that delivers the city, or delivers the ethnoi, the people, a people or nation. Since it is the sort of political inquiry. Okay, we're going to stop here. This is short again. Chapter 2. We turn next. We'll go chapter 3. If you like it, hit the like button, share it, share it with your friends, share it your social media, spread it out. Put your any comments or questions you have. Please put them in the comment area, and I'll concerns or questions or concerns or issues you want me to address. I will respond to them when I see them. Again, like it if you liked it. Now, if you didn't like it, you can always say that what you didn't like about it. You can put them. Please write it down as a comment. Okay, what you didn't like, and explain. Maybe we can learn. Maybe I did something wrong. We didn't like that. My goof over there. If you've not subscribe. Let's get the subscription grow higher. Share this website. Share this thing to friends. Encourage them to join us on this on the investigation. Next thing we will do, you want to follow me on social media. The social media links are below. You want to follow me as a scholar. My scholarly social media, the academic social media links are below those. If you want to help me to do what I do, you can do so through Subscribe to our Patreon. See the links below. And then, or else you want to just buy one of my books. You can do this. Help me by just buy one of my books. Mostly an Aristotle scholar, right? Well, that's it. We'll see you next time. In that sense, we'll see what you can get chapter 3. We'll stop here, and I wish you guys a good day. Have a good one. Take care, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.